So our
There we go. Go ahead.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. HPH affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all HPH meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate-led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by HPH leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest speakers and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of HPH meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members. So we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you, Lynn. And I just want to say that she has got a star beside her. Her name is Carolina, and she is Lynn Argetsinger's beautiful fur baby. And I think that Carolina wants to chase a ball. Is that right?
Well, she was crying through the whole thing, so I apologize for that. She's standing here next to me, waiting for me. So apparently she doesn't want to be shared.
Yes, which makes sense. But I just think it's adorable. And this is actually Lynn Argetsinger's son, Seth's fur baby. So she's very, very important to all of us. And she's actually very beautiful as well. So she's, maybe you could kind of show, can you show on your monitor? Not really.
Jeff actually just got home, so she went downstairs.
Oh, she went to see him.
So
Okay,
this is good.
That's good. So let me go ahead and just read a short bio for Michelle. I'm really thrilled to have her here. Michelle Leray is a spiritual medium who has been connecting people all over the world with their loved ones and spirit guides for many years. As a trained End of Life Doula, she is devoted to supporting people who are preparing to make their final transition from this physical world. In addition to her work as a medium and a doula, Michelle offers teachings on many different topics to help those who are interested in enhancing their own intuitive abilities and strengthening their trust in themselves as they navigate their own unique healing journeys. Michelle is also a regular facilitator of Death Cafés and a volunteer with Palliative MB. Please visit her website to learn more about Death Cafe Winnipeg. And that address is www.thespiritguidedpath.com. I will put that in the chat box. And without further ado, please join us in welcoming Michelle Leray. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and thank you, Lynn. I'm so grateful to be here, and it's so nice to see all of you. Thank you for having me. I am always grateful to have the opportunity to come and share a little hour with you. So I thought we would start off with a short guided meditation just to get everybody on the same page energetically. And then I was going to share a little bit of information and move towards gallery readings, which I'm really excited to provide for you tonight. So if you'll indulge me, I encourage you to, get comfortable, and whenever you're ready, you may close your eyes and begin to breathe deeply. And just taking this time to check in with your body, with whatever you're feeling. You may notice that you feel some tension or discomfort. That's okay, it's normal. And just beginning to breathe deeply, expanding your rib cage, opening your chest. Exhaling slowly, beginning to release any stress or tension. Just paying attention to your thoughts. Whatever's coming up for you is perfectly normal. We're not trying to change or fix anything right now. We're just simply being with exactly what is showing up for us in this moment. Being present with what is, not trying to change anything. I encourage you to visualize, opening your mind's eye a little bit, allowing yourself to visualize and feel yourself in a place of nature, a place that calls to you, one that is resonating with your soul. This may be a wooded forest in the moonlight or the bright sun. It may be by a waterfall, a snowy mountain, whatever calls to you, whatever feels comfortable. Bring yourself to this place now. Breathing deeply, exhaling slowly, feeling your shoulder blades going back as you pay attention to the sights and sounds all around you. You may hear birds singing, you may see the sunlight, you may feel it on your cheeks, or sensing the moonlight. And taking this time to ask for a loved one in spirit to join you on your journey today. Someone very special to you, someone that you would love to see. And you may begin to see or feel or simply know that they are by your side. You can feel them reaching out and touching your hand. And as you squeeze their hand, you turn and look and see them just at your side. And taking a moment to embrace them, to smile, to let them know that you are so happy to see them tonight. And equally, they smile and tell you that they are just as thrilled to see you. You can feel your body relaxing. You can feel joy emanating from your being. You feel very peaceful, very relaxed, exactly where you need to be in this moment. Take a moment now just to speak with them, to tell them how much you love them, to share anything that you would love for them to know, to ask them anything that you would like to know more about what they're doing, to know what signs they leave for you, or even to ask them to leave a specific sign, and leaving it in their hands to do so when the time is right. Just enjoying a momentary conversation. Recognizing that at any time you can come back and connect with them whenever you feel ready. As they smile at you and squeeze your hand, you tell them once again just how much they mean to you. They embrace you and give you a beautiful hug, one you can feel all over your body. And as they begin to let go, you tell them that you will see them again soon, in your thoughts, in your dreams, in your meditations. As you exhale, you begin to feel yourself coming back into your body, Your fingers and toes begin to move. You begin to feel your eyes not being so heavy. And whenever you feel ready, you may come back slowly, opening your eyes, coming back to your full conscious awareness. Taking a few moments to acclimate yourself back into this reality. I hope that meditation was enjoyed. I know it was quick, but you're welcome to replay it at any time and recognize that it is that simple to connect with your loved ones. It's not something that you can't do. You absolutely can at any time, and I hope that you will. Even if you don't see them, some people feel like, if I don't see them, then am I doing it right? But you can feel them. You feel their energy. You know that they're with you. And I know it's sometimes, easy to doubt that, but when you feel that love, when you feel that energy, you absolutely can connect with them. And I hope that you will many times. And so while I will be doing some readings today, I was also going to share a little bit of information. I know that you sometimes have speakers who come on and share a bit of information, but something I've been talking a bit more about lately is what to expect when seeing a medium, and what to look for in a medium when you feel the time is right to, book a reading. And I feel like it's really important for people to trust not only themselves with this, but also your loved ones. I like to say from the perspective of your loved ones know who they trust, because they have to choose somebody that they feel they can trust to speak on their behalf. So when you feel drawn to a medium, if you look online or you get referrals, take some time to do a bit of research on them first. It's important not to rush into this decision. It's something that you want to make sure you find the right person for you and for your loved ones. And so when you feel drawn to a medium, reading about their reviews, asking for others, what their perspectives are, and also trusting, asking your loved ones in spirit, who do you trust to connect with? Because I take it very, I always feel like mediumship is very sacred. And so I take it as a great responsibility that when I connect with you and your energy and I'm bringing your loved ones forward, it's a great honor to speak on their behalf, but also it is a huge responsibility. It requires a great deal of ethics. And so and definitely looking at, the Helping Parents Heal recommended mediums. Thank you, Elizabeth, for posting that. It's really important, to have those recommendations and those reviews, but also to trust yourself, because sometimes you can look at a number of pictures and feel drawn to someone's energy. You don't know why, but you just say, okay, there's something about that one. I'm just going to look into it further. And so you've chosen your medium. And so what comes next? It's really important to remember that the energy you bring into a reading matters. Just like the energy your loved one brings into the reading matters, and of course the energy that the medium brings into the reading. So we have at least 3 energies that matter, if not more, if you bring someone along. And so a big aspect of mediumship, of course, as you've probably looked at, is the word evidential or evidence. Now, I always say this, I feel like the term evidential mediumship is a bit redundant, because if it's not evidential on some level, then it's not probably mediumship. So, but the whole point is, what is validation? What is evidence? And so this has a lot to do with recognizing that, first of all, not all mediums can do the same thing. When I bring spirit forward, there's a lot of focus on, either how they transitioned at the beginning. I might feel those aches and pains in the body, or I might get an idea as to what they went through, but that doesn't mean they're going through it now. It just means that when they lower their vibration to connect through me, I'm going to feel what they felt before they died. And it helps to bring validation in terms of what they experienced. And then we'll talk about their personality, their memories. Names are great to get, but they're not as easy as it sounds. It's not like talking like this, with, very obvious verbal communication, because what they're providing for me is energy. And so when I say they're saying something, it's more of an imprint on my mind versus literal verbal, talk. So And every medium's a bit different. Some focus heavily on the visuals, some focus heavily on kind of the feelings they get from those spirits. And so recognizing that not every medium is going to bring forward the validation that you might be looking for. And so if you're coming into something like that, like a reading, or even a group message, a gallery night or anything like that, the medium's not likely to get your special code word that you have with your loved one. I mean, you never know. Sometimes it happens. It's great when it does. It's always a surprise, but it's not likely, because the spirits have to work with what the medium already knows. So sometimes we don't know, what they knew. We don't have the knowledge base for what they're talking about, or what, if there was something specific that they love to do, but we don't have that knowledge base. We might not get it because we simply don't have the words or the understanding. So recognizing that every medium is going to get as much information and validation as they can based on what they know and what they're receiving from your loved ones in spirit, as well as spirit guides. I work heavily with spirit guides as well. And we may or may not have spirit guides come through tonight, but we'll see. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of information about that, as well as, your energy matters. I personally don't recommend having a reading done too soon after a significant loss. I usually say 4 to 6 months, but everybody's different. Some people, within 2 to 3 months, it might not be too difficult. And again, this has nothing to do with the fact that, it's not that your loved ones couldn't come through. It's that I recognize, greatly that when done too soon, it can hinder or potentially hinder the start of the grieving process. And because I also work as a death doula and a grief support person, I recognize that sometimes harm can be done if a reading is done too soon. And again, that's not for everyone. I mean, it's not all black and white in that sense, but if you found that, if you've had an experience that was not so great, ask yourself, was it too soon? And when I say 4 to 6 months, that's also very general. What could be too soon for one person might not be the same for another, and too soon for someone could mean even a year based on what they're currently going through. So it's really important to pay attention to your grieving process and how you're feeling before entering into a reading. Does anyone have any questions at all? Someone said, the meditations make me sad. Does that interfere? Your energy does matter, but there's a certain level of expectation as a medium. Obviously, a good majority of people that come to see me are grieving. And so it's okay. It's okay if you're grieving, even if it's been several months, several years, that's okay. Your grief itself isn't going to stop the energy connections. But it's when you're just starting, like in those early days of raw grief, where, even just like trying to survive in the physical world is very difficult when you have grief brain and you can't remember your PIN number, or you can't remember phone numbers, all of that kind of, energy, that kind of space. That's a bit more what I'm talking about. It's perfectly normal to enter into a reading not being in the most perfect headspace. That's okay. But at the same time, as I'm talking about that, my guides are reminding me, also too, if you're kind of feeling like, a word I watch out for is desperate. If someone calls or writes to me and says that they're desperate for a reading, and they're, that if they're in a state of crisis, I want to help them have the resources they need so that they're not in that state of crisis. Because when you're in a state of crisis or panic or desperation, your energy is going to be a little bit too chaotic for a peaceful, calming connection where, because your body and your energy, it's just not in the right space for that kind of connection. Denise asks, if I'm in a state of frustration or conflict, will that keep my son away even if I tell him? No, I mean, your loved ones are absolutely with you. Like, first of all, your grief doesn't prevent your loved ones from transitioning fully. And your grief does not prevent or affect your loved ones from being able to connect with you. But when you're, especially in the early days of grief, like you might have noticed for many people, not everyone, for the first 2 to 4 weeks or so, you might feel like you feel your loved one around after they've died. But then it feels like they've gone all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden it's about 3 or 4 months where you feel like you're not sensing them. And then afterwards, slowly you start to sense them a bit more and more. And that's usually, again, I'm only working with earthly times. There's a whole big conversation about that. But after they've kind of readjusted their vibration to being back in spirit, you're not going to recognize the very subtle differences of their energy being so close to yours. So what I often tell people is that it's much easier to sense other people's loved ones than it is to sense your own, simply because you're just so comfortable and like so used to their energy. So if you walk around and you feel like, I never sense them, I never see them, it's because you're so accustomed to their level of vibration, and it's normal. It's absolutely natural. And that's why you might, especially if you have others who are grieving around you, you might pick up on their loved ones really easily, because you become a bit more sensitive with your grief and with, what you've been learning about, your own spirituality, your own spiritual abilities. So you might pick up on other loved ones very easily for other people, but that doesn't mean that your loved ones aren't close. It actually, in a way, it means that they're very, very close, because you don't sense them so easily, because you're not going to notice very, very tiny, subtle differences in energy. And Benita asks, when I meditate, I see colors. Sometimes I see pictures, like fast rolling pictures of people, things that used to freak me out, but getting used to it. It's absolutely normal. When you're meditating, you get flashes, and that's normal. And the thing is, like with mediumship, all of us have spiritual abilities. All of us have spiritual senses. So you are, you're picking up on those, you're sensing them. And that is all extremely normal. You might see colors flash, and you might see people's faces. Some people think, oh my goodness, all those faces, those are spirits that need help. But really, you're just sensing either your guides, your loved ones quickly, or even just spirits of people that, sometimes we forget about all the spirits that we don't remember. Again, this is more of if you kind of believe in reincarnation, say. You didn't transition here with everybody that you've ever loved or ever knew. So sometimes you see faces of spirits you don't remember for right now. So yeah, that's perfectly normal. Like don't be panicked. Just breathe through it and recognize that with practice, it'll start to make more and more sense. We're getting lots of questions, so I'm going to answer them. Okay, so Nicole asks, what do our dreams mean when they come in them? So the biggest difference with regards to like literal dreams versus visitations, if you wake up and you can feel, like you go back to that time when you see them and you sense them and you can feel the love, you can feel that energy with them, that was a visitation. So when we're sleeping, our spirits leave our bodies and we connect with our loved ones in spirit. So even if you think you never dream of them, I promise you do spend a great deal of time with them. It's just not that we always remember the conscious, when our conscious mind doesn't always recall this upon waking, but we will remember that eventually. But if you have a dream where you feel panicked or you're reliving something, or, I just want to mention that sometimes people get a little upset or worried that, something's happening to their loved one or their loved one's upset. Sometimes that's a lot of our own grief or our fears that maybe we're not processing in our waking life that come out in our dreams. And that's not the same as a visitation. Your loved ones aren't suffering in that way. So it's really important to differentiate between the two. Kay asks, does it bother them to contact them? Like, are they busy? Does it bother them to talk to them? Like, we're disrupting them? Is it annoying? Absolutely not. They are so excited to talk with you. Like, you have to understand, like, for as much as we think we can multitask in this world, we really can't. We're really only capable of really doing one or two things at a time. They can much more easily multitask, but they get really excited about this too, because you have to understand, they're not walking around in spirit always like completely consciously aware of us either. They have to make an effort to see us, just like we have to make an effort to see them. So they have to be kind of, they have to lower their vibration a little bit to become a bit more aware of us. And so they love to connect. They really do. Even the ones that when they were here, it's my favorite ones, when they were really like, not into this, they didn't believe in anything. And then they come in and they're like, oh, this is really neat. So absolutely, they love to connect. And, again, I'll use this opportunity to share the teaching, of course, that we shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 full readings a year, just simply because if we get read too much by too many people, it starts to wear on our energy. And I've expressed this before with people that I can tell if somebody is connected with too much. It starts to deplete your energy a little bit. So 2 to 3, maybe 4 tops, 4 full readings a year. And if you have like a mini one here and there, that's fine. But try not to have a full connected reading every single month. You want to give some space and time for healing in between all of that. But no, it does not bother them. It does not annoy them. Frankly, they're excited for it. So someone asks, I always ask for help for my loved ones, especially during the most difficult times, and as I know they will help me. They'll absolutely do everything they can. I mean, the biggest rule of spirit communication is they can't interfere. So they're not going to do anything that would interfere with your learning, your lessons, your life here, but when they can offer support, guidance, help, clarity, anything at all, they absolutely will. So Nicole says, did they prepare you before you die, especially in younger kids? My son would talk a lot about heaven and ask about hell and how I'd feel if he died first. It's very common with children that come here. The ones that go home early, they almost always, not always, but they almost always seem otherworldly or wise beyond their years, and they do talk about these kind of things beforehand. It doesn't mean that if your children, like for everyone, doesn't mean that if your children ever ask about death or anything like that, that this automatically means that they will die before you. But sometimes those that do transition younger, they have like this inner knowing or this wisdom that kind of just comes from them. And a lot of people recognize that after, when they look back at everything that their child had said before they died, that they almost like they recognize that on some level they must have known. We all, no matter what age we are when we die, we all receive some preparation from our guides, from our loved ones, and also we've all done this many times too. It's not, it seems like a shock to the body at first, but the spirit remembers. And so we remember how to transition when that time comes. And we're never alone. No one is ever alone. We might physically be alone, we might not have someone physically beside us, but spiritually we are never alone when that time comes. Let's see. I'm just reading through and seeing. So Denise says, I've heard that they will not contact us after initial crisis time unless they ask. Is that true? No. I've never found that to be the case. I mean, more often than not, especially in the case of bereaved parents, they're incredibly involved. They love to be involved in everything. And it doesn't mean that they're not moving on or doing other things. Like, yes, they're learning, they're growing, they're continuing on with their paths in spirit, but they can kind of do both, just like we do both. We're just as connected. We're connected with our loved ones always. Think about how often we sleep. We spend a great deal of time with our loved ones in spirit. We just don't remember it all. We think that we're sleeping, but the sleep aspect is for our body to recuperate. Spiritually, we're not sleeping. Spiritually, we are connecting, we are learning, we're growing. Sometimes we take classes. If you ever come back and you're really tired, you don't know why, it's probably because you took a class overnight and you were learning something. And that happens a lot. So yeah, I mean, they don't, like, I know that some people, like, I don't know if it's beliefs or something, where some people will say, if you cry or grieve them, they're not moving forward, or that, once they've connected once through a medium, they'll never do it again. I've never found that to be the case. But I mean, every medium's different. And also, I mean, mediums aren't perfect. We're human. So sometimes our beliefs can limit us as well. And I recognize that. And I try very hard to, review my own, like preconceived notions or things that I believed in the past or things that I was taught when I was growing up, and making sure that those things aren't limiting me as a medium. And that's just a constant process of review and, making sure that I'm not doing anything that limits communication in the best way possible for you, the sitter. Am I hearing a code word right now? Well, there's a lot of people here. I'm not hearing anything specific right now. I'm sorry, Denise. So, unless we ask, is that what you meant? So, no, it's not limited to just when we ask to connect with them. They're absolutely with us. No, Tammy, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, no one's ever alone. I write about this all the time on my page. It's important to completely understand and recognize that no matter what happened, no matter how it happened, nobody is alone when they die, because we all have guides and we all have loved ones. And like I say, when we're connected, to our loved ones, they sense it. If we're making our transition, there's no time when we're ever alone during that transition. So Sherry says, sometimes I dream of my daughter and feel as though she is showing me what her life would have been like if she was still here. So she had a mental illness and it seems like it would have been tough. Would that be accurate, or is it simply me thinking it? It's absolutely possible. Sorry, my camera's being a little funny. It's absolutely possible that she's showing you something. I would have to understand a bit more about what she went through when she was here and how she transitioned. But I have had glimpses during readings and messages where a loved one who was going through maybe very difficult mental illness would show that had they continued on here, that it might have been very difficult. And so I would say it is possible that you were receiving something accurately. But again, without connecting, I can't possibly know for sure. And I feel like this is a good point to maybe start doing some of those messages. I'm sorry, we got kind of sidetracked, but I love to answer questions, though. I'm sorry. I'm a teacher as well, so it's hard for me not to answer questions, so I apologize. Let's see. So I'll answer this last one, and then if we have time at the end, I'll answer a few more. Nicole says, if the death was tragic, do they feel what happened if it was fast? No, that often if it was a sudden transition, like traumatic and accidental like that, they will demonstrate when they connect with me that if I don't feel any pain in the body, but I feel like they weren't sick, because usually if I feel tired, that's how I know that there was an illness. Then I can say with great certainty that they did not feel any physical pain during that transition. Sometimes during quick or traumatic transitions, it's like their spirit leaves the body so quickly that there was no time to register any potential pain. And I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a few messages now. Now, normally when I do messages, I usually scroll through whoever's here and I ask to connect, but my guides and I did something a little bit different today. I was receiving some information earlier, and I don't know. So I wrote down a few things, and if the people are here for those spirits that I was sensing, and they're still with me. And Melissa says, if they cross in their sleep, are they more confused? Not really, no, because again, they have loved ones that explain everything right away. So no, it's the same. I can work with a lot of people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, and no, it's a matter of just reacclimating themselves to that vibration in the spirit world. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to share what I was receiving a little bit earlier, because I had a particular younger spirit, a young man who seemed really excited to come through tonight. And I'm really hoping that his mother or father is here. So please pay attention to what I'm saying. And if it resonates with you, what do you do, Elizabeth? Do you get people to put up their hands?
We asked them to put it in the chat box.
Okay.
And then once we see that there are people who are identifying with enough of the information, we call on them. So
perfect. Okay. So what I was receiving earlier, and I'm sensing and seeing him again right now. So I was feeling a young man. Ages are tough, but I'm saying like probably roughly between the ages of 17 to 22ish. So just give or take a little bit on both of those sides. What was absolutely certain that was an accidental overdose and he was not someone who used drugs often. I feel like it was more of a, he tried a few times, but he wasn't somebody who was really into all of that. It feels like, I don't know if it was a bad dose or something like that, but it was somebody who, something happened where it was not intentional. That's the biggest thing. It was not an intentional transition. It was somebody who accidentally overdosed. And he was telling me about, he has a sister in the physical world, a younger sister, who either plays an instrument or really likes music, or that might be how they connect. I was hearing a lot of music when he was talking about her. And how he visually, and I can see him again, it's he's kind of on the thin athletic side, and he's got this lightish brown hair that kind of goes about here. So I feel like the bottom part might be shaved or short, and the top part's a little bit longer. Let's see. So he had a very shy smile, but very kind. And I feel like, when he could, he'd be very helpful on the weekends or whenever he could to help his family. I wasn't sure if he actually played guitar, if he just wanted to learn. I feel like he liked rock music or like that kind of stuff, metal or rock music kind of thing. And let's see. He was not a troubled young man. Like he seemed genuine, kind. It was just an accident. And one of the things that was important was that he did not suffer during his transition. He said it was based on what he experienced. It was really quick, and he said it was important that his family knew that his grandmother was there to bring him home, so he wasn't alone. Yeah, let's see. So does anyone?
Andrea is saying son passed at 21, accident, dark blonde, kind, helpful, and his sister plays the guitar. And then Emily is saying this sounds like my son, but his sister is a twin. And then Gia is saying that it sounds like her son, but he has an older sister. Let's see. And then Amy saying, my son, 21, older sister, he played the bass guitar. Okay.
Okay,
Carol
go.
Carol is saying older played guitar, younger sister, accidental, grandma passed. I'm not sure
Okay.
what you spoke about.
Okay.
So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so see what else. That was pretty much what I got earlier. So now I'm connected with him again. I'm going to see what else he wanted to say. And I'm getting the impression where he lived. Okay. Yeah, he's because he's hung out with me like most of the day. Sometimes they do that. He's joking about Canada. I'm in Canada. He says our winters are not like this. So I would say winters are probably mild, probably not as much snow as we have out here. I feel like I think he was working. He was probably working possibly like a physically like a labor type of job or something that kept him on his feet. I feel like he didn't like he wouldn't have preferred a desk job. He liked to be on his feet moving around. Does any of that resonate so far with what else I had already said for anyone?
Okay, so Gia is saying her son, 21, is a snowboarder. But Gia, do you identify with the other things, the overdose as well as
Everything else
younger
should
sister-
match for the most part.
younger sister, who maybe plays an instrument, or he does. Let's see. Carol's saying worked outside. Now it's important when everyone's putting this in the chat box that this more than obviously. Okay, so Gia's saying, yes, my son played the guitar. Okay, and he was a snowboarder. And does he have a younger sister, Gia? Okay, all but older.
He like, are you talking about the like him being older? Because he looks young to me, but I'm not sure about the age. But did
Okay,
he look younger? Like, did he have a younger look to him?
so Carol. Okay, so
Because
Carol's saying,
he says he always got carded, or because he says he looked younger than he was.
so Gia is saying he had an older sister. He looked younger. Okay, and Carol is saying all but older. He was older. So Gia says he was 21. And then Andrea is saying this all fits for me, hair, age, etc.
And same with the occupation and all of that. Does that all fit, Andrea?
So the occupation, it's physical occupation. And actually, let's see.
Okay. I'll see if I can get at least one or two more things just to make sure that we're 100%. He, yeah. So he's actually I don't know if this happened since his transition or whatever, but I feel like he's showing me a cat. So I feel like there would have been a family cat or a cat that would have died that he has over there with him, and he.
So Gia's saying yes to the cat. Okay.
Oh, okay.
People are saying yes. Yes, our cat. Okay. Accidental death. Cat passed. Yellow. Has cat, but cat's still alive. Okay. I
This
think
cat's
that,
definitely dead. Yeah.
okay. I think that
Maybe
maybe
Sandra.
Gia is the closest. The
Think so?
only difference is that her, let's see. She
Well,
said,
Emily had a cat that just died last week.
okay.
Oh, but so does Gia said yes to cat.
But I don't know about Emily matching everything
Emily,
else.
did you match Gia and Emily? Did you match everything else?
The Gia, the sister is older though. Let's see. Andrea is saying I have my let's see, cat past 20. Emily is saying yes. So
Okay. Okay.
would
Okay.
you like to unmute?
He said something about someone having car trouble last week. Did anyone have any vehicle trouble last week that he was watching something? wasn't a major issue, just a little, it was almost like a minor annoyance. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Andrea is saying yes.
Okay.
So let's see, we have quite a few people,
okay.
but that Andrea says she has his 12-year-old cat. So the cat's not on the other
I feel
side.
like the cat is definitely over there because he's showing me that he's like, sometimes they show cats, but this one's over there.
Okay, so Emily is saying that she had car trouble though. So she is already saying that she thinks it's her. Why don't we maybe unmute Emily and then we can go to somebody else if that's not the case? Is that okay with you?
Sure. I mean, I feel like I want to, I want to definitely make sure I know who it's for, but
You want to wait? Do you want to keep?
I'll see if I can get like one more thing.
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Well, because he's talking about, because his sister's still in the physical world, and something about, I do feel like the music thing is important because I feel like it's almost like he's encouraging her to either learn more or like to join a group or do something with it. And it feels like she's doubting herself. Would that make sense for anyone who has a daughter here, whose brother's over there, and he's watching her and is kind of like encouraging her to do more with the music? Yeah, no, like yeah, some were saying that she plays or whatever, but I feel like it's like he's like she needs to go for it. She needs to do more with it because it would be really helpful for her with what she's going through right now. And I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons he wanted to come forward today is to really encourage his sister to do more.
Of course, there's piggybacking. There's always piggybacking, but it's kind of important to find the right person in the beginning. So it seems like right now, let's see, music is important. So Emily, is music important for a sister? Let's see, she's focused on horses, played guitar, took lessons. So that's Andrea. Okay.
I'm just waiting for Emily to.
Don't know if Emily is actually doesn't look like she's responding about the music. So yeah, lots of piggybacking though, obviously, because there's so
Okay, should we go with Andrea then for now?
sure, if you'd like to. Let's see. Let me go ahead.
Oh, she's at a concert right now. Okay, that that makes sense. For Emily, so
Go with Emily then.
yeah. What do you think? I don't know.
Okay, let's go ahead and unmute Emily first. I'm going to ask Emily to unmute.
Okay.
Could you go ahead and just say something, Emily?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Spotlight you. There we
Hi.
go.
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, it all really fits, except for his sister is a twin, so she's not a younger sister.
Okay.
But literally, our cat just passed away, and I've been so wanting Colin to reach out and tell me that he's with.
Well, he was very, very certain about this cat holding his cat, and it's really important. Yeah, he definitely wanted you to know that the cat is okay. So is it okay if I connect with your energy a bit more to see if I can get more information?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm feeling with you, I feel like you would have had a really good relationship with your son. Does that make sense at all? I feel like he says I could tell her anything, and and I do feel like this is for you because the second I start crying, so it tells me that this is the right connection. So, okay. And did he tell you earlier? He's like, see, I told you I'd get through because he was with me like all day. And I'm like, I don't usually write stuff down beforehand. I usually just go in and like, I do my thing. And he's like, he kept like telling me all these stats. He's like, you're going to say this and you're going to say that. I'm like, okay, we'll do it. I'm going to write it down and then we'll see what happens. So I feel like did he tell you earlier that he was really going to try to come through? Did you feel that a bit?
I've been trying to connect with him.
Okay. Well, he's very strong, and I feel like he's like got me grinning from ear to ear and I feel like did he have a bit of a shy smile like in his pictures? I always feel like it was like always a shy smile, like he never meant to be like goofy in his pictures, but sorry for my camera, but I feel like he is, you know, just that kind of like that like didn't want to like look straight at the camera kind of thing. I feel like he had that but it was very sweet. Like he was very endearing, and it feels like he what was he talking about? Okay, so I don't know if this is a book that you already have. I see a book of like, do you have like a literal photographic book with of pictures with him at all, or is that something you're thinking of making?
I have made photo books for his siblings.
Okay, like of like him and a lot of his pictures.
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like he's showing me this, and it's like I feel like almost like something about you got to tell the story. Like, did you write anything down with some of those pictures? I feel like it's almost like you got to write the stories down. Does that make sense at all to you?
Not really. No.
Did you write anything with the pictures at all?
No.
Okay, so I feel like it's almost like because as time passes, you might forget the little intricacies, little details, and if you feel ready, I feel like he's almost saying like he's encouraging you to write some some things down from some of the pictures that eventually, like if if there's new kids in the family and all that, then you kind of have that refresh of this is the time he did this, and just those kind of things. I feel like he's just encouraging you to write some of his best stories. He says how did you want to say? He's like the hits. He says he wants you to focus on the hits. So it feels like, did he have like a few really really good stories that you can think of that you'd like to write down and have everyone remember? Yes,
I think so.
I feel like he's just encouraging you. And I feel like that you'd bond really well over that because I feel like he will connect with you. And um, I just feel like such love coming to you. And I do feel like I don't know if you how do you want me to word that? I know that you're just starting to grieve the loss of your kitty, and I'm very sorry for that. But he is saying that, when the time is right. And I feel like that, I don't know if it's around like late spring, early summer. It almost feels like he's going to just bring you the right kitten if you're open to it. But I feel like he's already got this in the works. And so you can trust that when that does happen. And I'm going to leave that with you, Emily. I really hope that this connection helps you and lets you know that your kitty is with your son and he loves you very much. And he's so grateful to have the opportunity to say hello to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was really special. That was a very hard loss for us last week. So it's comforting to know.
Okay. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And yes, we have time maybe to do another one if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. So the second one that I was feeling earlier, let's see. Yeah, it's just making sure that they're still here. So, okay, yeah. So with this one, this was more of an illness. This was a young girl. Again, with ages, that she looked younger from what I could see. I would say probably between the ages of 8 or 9 up to about 11, 12, maybe just a little on either. Well, I would say probably not younger than 8 or 9. But I do feel she likely had cancer. And I do feel I feel the illness in my body. So as I'm connecting with her, I can feel that she probably went through treatments because I'm feeling that nauseated feeling I get when a spirit has gone. Like, again, she's not feeling this now, but I am feeling that feeling I get when they have gone through likely like chemotherapy and other treatments that were difficult on the body. Yeah, okay. And I do feel that either her cancer at some point went into remission or they thought it did and then it came back. And so I feel like there was a time when it was almost like, okay, we've overcome this. And then I do feel like it's possible. Then it, either didn't go away completely or it came back full force. I did see her as having, like she had lost her hair. I wasn't sure if it was a brain tumor, but I do feel like the brain was probably involved at some point. And it may have even affected one of her eyes. I'm not sure if it affected her eyesight or if she kind of wore a patch or something, but I do feel like there was something going on there. But she always, like, as I connect with her, like I see her smiling, like she would have been someone who had just the most infectious smile. And I feel like she was just this beautiful light, this joy to be around. When I was still connecting with her, I'm seeing her hold a bit of a stuffy. So like I think it was brownish or there was like a few colors, but I feel like it was either a puppy or a bear. It was something that she would bring to the hospital with her and I feel like was with her. One thing I do keep seeing with her is either she had two siblings or two friends that would come visit her, because I'm seeing two children nearish her age or younger that had come with her. So like these are pretty specific. Does this resonate with anybody at all?
So we're looking. Does anyone resonate with this younger girl who had cancer, 8 to 12 years old? Let's see. Let's see. So Sandra is raising her hand. Sandra, if this resonates, please type in the chat box. We can't take raised hands. I'm sorry, because it switches all of the video around. So if you could just type in the chat box.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't sure about it being like, I don't think it was brain cancer specifically, but I feel like it possibly affected her. Either something affected her vision, or it, sometimes you get metastases that go to the brain. I'm not 100% sure about the kind of cancer, but I do feel like, I definitely know it was cancer, and I do feel like there was treatment. So this spirit did go through chemotherapy.
Two, we have Laura saying, my daughter had cancer. She was 8 years old. She didn't have brain cancer. And then Lisa is saying, all sounds like my daughter, but she was older. And I'm not sure how much older.
Ashley, would she, if she was like, sometimes they show me at the age they would be now, would she be around the ages of 8 or so if she hadn't died at that time?
Yeah, Ashley, could you just...
Shoot. Oh, this just happened. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Okay. So what about Laura with she didn't have brain cancer though. I don't know, but you were saying that
I'm not 100% sure that was brain cancer. I just feel like either metastases to the brain, or it affected possibly her her eyesight.
Laura's is saying, my daughter looks so young, but she was 40 and had cancer, and it had gone to her brain. Eyesight wasn't affected that we know.
This was definitely a child that, and I'm so sorry for everyone that's gone through this, but this was definitely a younger person.
Okay. So Laura's saying she did go into remission and then it relapsed, which sounds like what you were saying. And she's 8. Her daughter was 8. So I think that Laura sounds like maybe we should possibly unmute her, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
And let's see, JK. Here we go. So I'm asking Laura to unmute. Laura, can you say something? Say hi so that we can see you.
Hi.
Okay, let's see. Let me find you so that I can spotlight you. Let's see. Could you say hi one more time? Because I'm now on the board here.
Hello.
Can't see you yet.
Yeah, I need to be able to spotlight you, but oh, there you go. I see you. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
I'm spotlighting you. There we go.
How are you?
Let's see.
I'm doing okay.
Well, thank you for being here. Is it okay if I connect with your energy just to make sure that I'm getting enough information for you?
Of course.
Okay. So you said your daughter was 8. Is that was correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So as I'm connecting with you, yeah. So I mean, what I can feel from your energy right now is I feel a lot of stress in your body. I feel like I can feel it all up and down my back, and I feel like, oh, you've got a lot going on right now, and that's very difficult. And I'm very, very sorry that you've had to go through this. What I do see with you, with your daughter, is I do feel like, I feel like it was correct that she was going through she did go through treatments, correct? Is that, because I feel like she's showing me, she says you were very careful not to, how do you want me to word that? Well, because she's showing like if there was something else they had to do, and I feel like you would say something like, it's just one more thing today, baby, it's going to be okay. And I feel like you were you were always honest with her about what they were going to do, but you were with her every step of the way. And I feel like she was very grateful. Sorry for my camera. She was very grateful for how she says you let her make some of the, like, you let her help make some of the big decisions. Does that make sense? Like you gave her like options a little bit, or something like, okay, we could do this or we could do that. And I feel like you at least listened to her input about how she felt about certain things with her treatment. Does that make sense at all to you? Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted again. I can't hear you. Can you unmute?
Yep.
There you go.
No, she was nonverbal.
Oh, okay. Well, did you ever like get like a sense from, like, did you talk with her? I feel like you talked to her, and I feel like verbal doesn't matter. I feel like you knew what she was always trying to convey to you. Does that make sense? Like on the spiritual level, Evelyn, did you always, because I feel like you understood what she was like trying to convey to you. Does that make sense at all to you? Like you got a sense from her about what she would want or what she wouldn't want. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm.
I feel like she was very grateful that you included her, and obviously much more so than what I was describing, because if she was nonverbal, I feel like you didn't let that stop you from sharing with her what was going to happen, and what they were going to do, and that you were going to be there, and it was going to be okay, and we're going to do this right after. Like I feel like you always broke it down for her, and even though maybe she couldn't tell you that she understood every single thing that you said, I do feel like you could tell based on her energy that she was calmer when you did this kind of thing. Does that make sense at all to you?
Yes,
And I
that
feel like,
makes sense.
okay, so I feel like she's very grateful for the way you always included her in the discussion. Not that we were all talking about her right in front of her, but we would include her in the discussion. I feel like you were very cognizant of that, and I feel like she always was able to feel grateful for that, and much more so upon her transition. I feel like she just wants you to know that she was really grateful for how you always oh, and she says, and she was the world's best hugger. Like you give her the world's best hugs. So I feel like I just feel like just the love. It's just so palpable, and I feel like she's got me in tears, or just like this pure love coming forward. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with just saying thank you so much for everything that you did. And I feel like she says there were some late nights, and she was grateful that you stood by her side. And how do you want me to word that? She says even when you were too exhausted to stand up, you still had the energy to like physically support her and love her through some difficult times. And I feel like she's just so grateful, and I hope that you see her sometimes, because she has the biggest smile, and I feel like she just lights up a room, and I feel like her personality, like just the biggest heart. I feel like you could always feel that from her, like just the kindest, biggest heart. And so please know that she loves you very much, and she's so grateful for everything that you did and everything that you had to sacrifice to help her through what she went through. And she sees it all, and she is there with you always, letting you know how much she loves you. And I feel like you have had a few dreams of her. Is that true, that you remember? So I feel like there'll be more of those in the future. And if you do, like if you get a feeling of her talking and stuff, like she can absolutely communicate with you. So, trust that you can hear her and understand her as she communicates with you now. Okay, Laura? So I just want to leave that with you. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
And I'll leave that with you.
Thank you, Laura. And I just want to quickly say that Sandra has been private messaging me, and she's been talking about her own daughter, and she passed from a brain tumor and has twin siblings. She carried a stuffed puppy, and she and her daughter made decisions together about her treatments. And she looked 12, but she was actually 16. The kidney disease prevented her growth. I don't know if you'd like to, but maybe we could unmute Sandra. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah. If you want
Okay,
to.
so let me quickly get to Sandra, and I'm asking Sandra to unmute. And this happens frequently, that we have this
When you have such a
feedback.
large group, right? It's, yeah.
Yes. So Sandra, can you say something?
Hello.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
I see you easily. Hi.
Hi there.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll do a quick connection. And so is it okay if I connect with your energy, Sandra?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, and I do feel like with yourself, I feel like you're going through, I don't know how far along you are in your grieving process. I do feel like you're working through some aspects of grief right now, though. Does that make sense?
I,
I'm sorry?
about a year.
About a year, yeah, so not very long.
Mhm.
'Cause I'm feeling it very
No.
much in my chest. I'm also feeling it in my abdomen. I feel like it's still very physical. Does that make sense? Like you can feel it like it's weighted in your body. Does that make sense at all to you?
Right here.
Yeah. So I do hope that you have people that you trust to talk with. Um, so I mean I know that everything else resonated. I'm going to see and make sure that I can also validate your daughter and okay, but was okay because I know originally for the one I had just brought through that was a cancer, but you're saying that your daughter had um, a
She
kidney.
had kidney disease that the treat medications for suppression of the kidneys caused her to get cancer. And we thought she was cured. We celebrated, and then she got headaches. We took her to the hospital, and they found 3 tumors in her head.
Okay. Oh, and I feel like she says by the end of it all, she was very tired, and I do feel like your daughter was verbal, correct? Because I feel like she was telling you
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
she you had she give me this clear indication that you had discussions about her making her transition. Does that make sense? Like she was verbal about this. Does that make sense at all to you?
Um, my daughter died in my arms, and I gave her permission to go.
Yeah, and I feel like she was very. I feel like she very much knew. I don't know. I don't know if she said that to you because I feel like I don't know if you could see the look in her eyes. 'Cause I feel like what I'm seeing is she showed me that she knew that that was going to happen,
But
and
she was going to, for the,
yeah, I feel like she knew
have,
she was going to die. And I don't know if she was ever. I don't know if it was ever something that you could verbally discuss, but I do feel like she wanted so much to make sure that it was the least amount of painful on you as possible. But I feel like she also knew that I don't know, and I don't know if you thought about this beforehand because she says she knew that you had to be there. Does that make sense at all to you?
well, I would never leave her side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like yeah, so that's kind of the reason that she wanted you to be there so that you would be the one to you were the first one to hold her on the way home.
Okay,
All that.
I know what you're saying. So we had 3 rough nights, and I physically I couldn't stay up. I couldn't function anymore. So I had to go lay down. So I went and lay down she let me rest for 6 hours. And when I came back, is almost like she was waiting for me to come back.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
really do feel that with her that it was very purposeful, and I feel like she was very grateful. And she says that you sang to her. Do you remember when she was ill? Did you sing to her at all? I feel like she
Yeah.
loved that. It was so important to her.
She used to make fun of my voice. She's like, Mom, you should have spent all the money on your voice lessons.
Oh, but yeah, no, I feel like it meant the world to her because I feel like she still replays that in her mind. She's very grateful for all that you did. So I'm gonna ask if there's anything else she wanted to let you know tonight, and I feel like it's interesting because I don't know if you've thought about this or not. She's telling you to write her story, and it feels like that was something you were thinking of doing, or have you already started?
Um, no, no, not her.
I
No,
might,
yes and no. I mean, I've been told before that I should write about what happened to her, but um, I just don't see doing that right now.
it doesn't mean you have to do it right now.
Mhm.
I feel like it might not even be for others. It might even just be for you to actually process everything because there's a
Mhm.
lot. I feel like it was a long journey, and I feel like it's almost like something that she wants to do with you so that you can see like all of the special moments in between those difficult, challenging times.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see it almost like as a project together when you're ready. This might be years from now, and that's okay. So I just feel like she's just wanting to let you know that she's with you and wants you to know that when the time is right, you'll do those kind of things together still. You'll work together on little projects.
So I was telling you that she knew she was crossing over. What was it that she was crossing over just in general in life? Because I was looking at some pictures of her, coming through my phone, and I saw a lot of pictures with this like flash of light around her, in front of her, which I never really thought about it until after she passed. And I'm like, why didn't I see it? That spirit was telling me that she wasn't going to be with us for long.
Well, it's so hard to recognize that in the moment, but I do feel like she had I do feel like she knew on some level that she was going to be making that transition. So if she never said it, I'm sorry, but I do feel like she knew, and I just feel like she wants you to know that I feel like she very quickly tried to let you know that she was okay after her transition. I don't know if you recognized any quick signs or anything like that.
I saw her through the house,
Mm-hmm.
running through the house. But I was like, am I seeing things?
I know.
I've seen her sense through the house. Her sister, she visits her sister often.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And she sees her, and at first she was scared, and I told her not to be scared. So now she's like, oh, Mom, I just saw Valentina.
That's wonderful.
I'm like, why can I see her?
Well, you do, like, and you will more and more. It hasn't been, terribly long. So just trying to recognize that, you will see her, you'll sense her more and more as time goes on. And please know she is with you and with your family, and she loves you very much. So I'm going to leave that with you, Sandra. Thanks for the opportunity to connect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And thank you, Michelle. This has been wonderful. And I know that Lynn also joins me in appreciating this wonderful evening, not just of readings, but also of question answering. That was as well as the meditation. And we always ask everyone, unless you have a few last words you wanted to say, we always ask everybody to say thank you and good evening. Did you want to just add anything before we close?
I just want to thank everyone for being here, and thank you for the opportunity. I hope to come back again.
Well, definitely. We would love to have you. And so if you all would like to say thank you and good evening to beautiful Michelle, that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Michelle.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye.
Next